Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of Teachings of Lord Kapila by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 6, Devahuti Desires Transcendental Knowledge, Text 7. Devahuti ruvacha Nirvinnanitaram bhuman asad indriya tarshanat Yena sambhavyamanena prapannandam tamah prabho. Translation. Devahuti said, I am very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses, for because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. Purport. Here, at the beginning of Devahuti's questionings, the word asad indriya tarshanat is significant. Asat means impermanent, temporary. Indriya means senses, and tarshanat refers to agitation. Thus, asad indriya tarshanat means from being agitated by the temporarily manifest senses of the material body. We are evolving through different species of material bodily existence, sometimes in a human body, sometimes in an animal body, and therefore the engagements of our material senses are also changing. Anything which changes is called temporary or asat. We should know that beyond these temporary senses are our permanent senses, which are now covered by the material body. The permanent senses, being contaminated by matter, are not acting properly. Devotional service, therefore, involves freeing the senses from this contamination. When the contamination is completely removed and the senses act in the purity of unalloyed Krishna consciousness, we have then attained sad indriya, or eternal sense activities. Eternal sensory activities are called devotional service, whereas temporary sensory activities are called sense gratification. Unless one becomes tired of material sense gratification, there is no opportunity to hear transcendental message from a person like Kapila. Devahuti expressed that she was tired. Now that her husband had left home, she wanted to get relief by hearing the instructions of Lord Kapila. The Vedic literatures describe this material world as darkness. Actually, it is dark, and therefore we require sunlight, moonlight, and electricity. If it were not by nature dark, why would we require so many arrangements for artificial light? The Vedas enjoin that we should not remain in darkness. Tamasima jyotirgama. We are instructed to go to the light, and that light is the spiritual world, which is directly lighted by the effulgence or bodily rays of Krishna, as stated in Brahma Samhita 5.40. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotishvashesha vasudhati vibhuti bhinam tad brahma nishkalamanantam ashesha bhutam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Quote, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes." Unquote. Animals have no ability to know that they are in darkness, but human beings can know. Like Devahuti, an intelligent person should become disgusted with the darkness of ignorance. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20. There is neither birth nor death for the soul. The soul is not destroyed when the body is annihilated. The soul puts bodies on and takes them off like clothes. This simple knowledge is instructed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, yet there are many big scholars and leaders who still cannot understand that the body is different from the person. This is because they do not study Bhagavad Gita in the proper way. Consequently, no one is fully aware or convinced that the real person is not the body. This is called darkness, and when one is disgusted with this darkness, human life begins. One who has become disgusted with material existence needs the instructions of a guru. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. Being the wife of a great yogi, Devahuti understood her constitutional position. Therefore, she is placing her problem before her son, Kapila Deva, an incarnation of God. Although Kapila Deva is her son, Devahuti does not hesitate to take instructions from him. She does not say, "Oh, he's my son. How can he tell me I am his mother and I shall instruct him?" Instructions has to be taken from one who is in knowledge. It doesn't matter what his position is, whether he is a son or a boy, a Shudra, Brahmana, Sannyasi, or Grihastha. One should simply learn from one who knows. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was a Brahmana and a Sannyasi, he took instructions from Ramananda Raya, who was a Shudra and Grihastha, but nonetheless very exalted spiritually. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Ramananda Raya was hesitant to give instructions, the Lord said, "Why are you hesitating? Although you are a Grihastha and are born in a Shudra family, I am prepared to take lessons from you." Kiba vipra kiba nyasi Shudra kenenaya, yei Krishna tattvavetta sei guruhaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 8.128. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Whoever is qualified in Krishna consciousness can become a guru. His family or material identity does not matter. He simply must know the science. When we consult an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, we do not ask whether he's a Brahmana or a Shudra. If he is qualified, he can help with a particular subject. Similarly, if one knows the science of Krishna, he can be a guru. Devahuti was asking to take lessons from her son because he knew the science of Krishna. Even if gold is in a filthy place, we should take it. It is also stated in the Vedas that if a girl is highly qualified or beautiful, she can be accepted in marriage even though born in a lower family. Thus, it is not birth that is important, but qualification. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone in India to know the science of Krishna and preach Krishna consciousness. This is very simple. We need only repeat what Krishna has said or what has been said about Krishna in the Vedic literatures. Human society cannot be happy without Krishna consciousness. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and we are his servants. The master is enjoying, and the servants are helping the master enjoy. We, living entities, are eternal servants of God, and our duty is to help our master enjoy. Srimati Radharani is the topmost servant of Krishna, and her business is always to keep Krishna pleased. Krishna is very fond of Radharani because she renders the best service. Her 64 qualifications are mentioned in the Vedic literatures. Unfortunately, in the material world, we are busy trying to enjoy our material senses. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.42, Indriyani paranyahur, indriyebhyah param manaha, manasastu parabudhir, yo budhe paratastu saha. Quote, the working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. Unquote. The soul is on the spiritual platform. On the material platform, we are interested in gratifying our senses. In this way, we become implicated in the laws of nature, as stated in the Shastras. Nunam pramattah kurute vikarma yad indriya pritaya aprinoti na sadhu manye yatad atmanoyam asan api klesha da asha deha. Quote, when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Unquote. Srimad-Bhagavatam 5.5.4. Living entities in this material world are very busy trying to gratify their senses. In the street, we see many dogs assembled for sex. This may seem very crude, but human beings are engaged in the same business, perhaps in a more elaborate way. We should know that sense gratification is meant for animals, and that sense control is for human beings. By tapasya, penance, we can purify ourselves and regain our eternal life. Actually, our material senses are not our real senses. They are covered, just as the body is covered by clouds. Our real body is within the material body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. The spiritual body is within the material body. The material body is changing, going through childhood, youth, then old age, and then it vanishes. Although this is not our real body, we are engaged in sense gratification with it. However, for our own ultimate happiness, we should try to purify our senses. There is no question of destroying the senses or becoming desireless. Desire is a material activity, and becoming desireless is not possible. The senses must be purified in order for us to act through them transcendentally. Bhakti yoga does not require us to destroy our senses, but to purify them. When the senses are purified, we can serve Krishna. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Quote, Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified. Unquote. Narada Pancharatra. We can serve Hrishikesh, the master of the senses, through the senses. We are part and parcel of Krishna, just as the hand is part and parcel of the body. Similarly, our senses are also part and parcel of the spiritual body of Krishna. When we purify our senses, we can act in our original constitutional position and serve Krishna. When we forget our position and try to satisfy ourselves, we become conditioned materially. When we forget that our duty is to serve Krishna, we fall into the material world and become implicated in personal sense gratification. As long as we continue trying to satisfy our own senses, we have to accept another body. Okay, we're going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description. Check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna!